The following video is concerning the video game Rust Legacy. This will concern yet another copy of it that can be downloaded that is technically working, and a review of it. And I'll explain at the end of the video if I have time why. A YouTube video, which will be linked below, was uploaded by a YouTube channel that names itself The Long Champ, and in that description it linked to DerpTeamGames.com/WordPress as later on archived, rebranded as SheriaCraft, and it links to a MediaFire link that has a specific ID code and then ends with it calling the file rust plus 14.03.zip. That doesn't mean that it has rust plus, that just means they use that as a placeholder because spaces are sometimes frowned upon. This is a 505 megabyte zip uploaded from the USA July 9th, 2015 at about 11:40 a.m. of a March 2014 Rust Legacy download with some alterations that was retitled 14.03 for 2014 March, I'm presuming. Again, these V numbers, version numbers, aren't really version numbers. And that really needs to stop. Anyway, although that almost, but not quite, seems like an acceptable way, except people usually put the day of the month so it says 25 when it's not. Anyway, this extracts out to just over 1 gigabyte of data. Normally these are just below 1 gigabyte, but this one's just a bit above it and that sort of thing. 45 extra kbytes for some extra code. It contains the 2013 version of Valve Anti-Cheat that honestly has never really been all that useful and has more harm than good. And on the servers that I set up locally to test things, I disable it by telling it to turn off truth and other settings off. So it stops trying to use any of them. Because all it results in is it kick violating me or banning me for walking off of the edge of one of the staircases. It always does that. I don't know why they bothered using this. Anyway, it labels itself on the right side, upper right-hand corner, branding, little banner that's like right here, as rust.alpha 14 Mar 2014 4:10 a.m. Now, going by vibes only, I don't remember seeing this version before, so it might be a unique copy, which is the 1 point I'm giving it in favor of using it if you want to download it. It has a 2013 December 23rd through 2014 March 19th file set for the resources folder. That last date being that day of the month, that would indicate this is the March 19th 2014 version, basically. Even though, again, it says Rust Alpha March 14th. Okay. So anyway, the DerpTeam Games Info text file is from that same date. Also, from 2014, February 6th through that date, we have the bundles folder containing file names and changes and that sort of thing. Rust data folder is a similar ending date, and it starts on the same timing. So these are all basically within the same time range. Just a few weeks of updates happening on the fly, maybe through Steam. Next, the Rust launcher it includes, that's foreboding boss music in the background you're hearing, is from 2014 February 18th, right in the middle there. And it was created at 1600 hours and 49 minutes. And it's not necessary to run it because that launcher may or may not have had extra features, but I can't find it. I sat down and checked every single key. So unless it's set up so that it would only load any extra special features if you're on DerpTeamGames.com, originally it was named, unless it was something like that, it's got no use. Or if it does have one, it's buried in the exe, and I might rip it open later if I get bored. But I doubt it. Next, I'm sure it contained a basic pop-up map for one of the keys or something, or maybe a frames per second enhancer, but these programs almost never contain any kind of clue as to how they work, and ripping them open is more trouble than they're worth most of the time. But anyway, So anyway, easyanticheat was included. Again, yet another routine, at least slightly marginally better than Valve Anti-Cheat. I've never covered Valve Anti-Cheat, but good God. Anyway, 2014, February 23rd through 2014, March 2014, March 5th. The Easy Anti-Cheat folder is there as an installer if you want to run it. Okay. Steam API DLL, which is the one that's usually patched and hacked and altered to get the game to work without Steam being needed, since that way you can use it offline on your server, on your computer, blah, 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 which is what I use, and it's the only way to run it now, is also, again, as always, listed as Game Hack, Win Trojan, Ramnit, and then some numbers, 6374. This is very commonly found, so if you download it, it will set off a virus scanner. And that seems to be its only purpose because it's not a virus. It's not malware. It always is just used to just turn off the requirement for Steam. That's its purpose. All it does is obfuscate it. It's also maybe a memory patcher or DLL patcher. Anyway, next. The mono folder, which if you're not aware of it, there is a subfolder in most downloadable copies, has usually mono folder and then a bunch of subfolders. All of them are empty and there's fewer of them. Which is a little bit odd because that usually indicates that someone did the editing or hacking to alter some of their DLL and then threw it in without doing it on that live copy, which is just a bit unusual. I've only seen that like twice. And that's from 2014, March 19th, period. It's all just in one day. The config folder shows alterations from 2014, January 1st, all the way to 2015, June 20th. Which indicates usage of it, or editing, or people downloading it and continuing modifying. The main folder dates are from about the same range, 2014 through 2015. The main file dates are also about that same range, but they are variations from March 19th to, February 18th at the beginning, etc. Now we get to LumaEmu the repatching. This is apparently done in 2015, July 9th. So it may have been relying on the Rust launcher exe to do all the work, and it may have been built that way to do that, since it's a different year. Usually what you'll find is some of the LumaEmu patch kits came with a launcher, and this may have been one, and maybe this was some sort of update to it. And usually that's all it is a launcher. And that forces it to work, but most of the time that's not needed. At one point, LumaEmu was altered to just alter a DLL file, and it didn't need the launcher. The last play of the game was in a log file that gave away a bunch of personal information about the person, but since this happened in 2015, July 9th, at 12 a.m., 12:02 a.m., meaning it was just afternoon when this is the last time it was played, this was done by TripleJman, who apparently is the last person who played it right before uploading it. Probably presumably the uploader. And again, this was an upload July 9th at 11:40 a.m. or was it 11:40 p.m.? So the time and date stamps here show time zone changes. And that was, again, from the USA. Others will be uploaded from various other countries. Let me make sure that was uploaded from the USA. Oh, yeah, from the USA. Now, it doesn't have an M key map, which is normally what you find. And those are usually injected into a DLL in one of the subfolders, or they're added to the launcher. Or they might be added to a DLL that's in there that says something like pointer or cursor, just to stick it someplace so that it'll work. And it'll either be reassignable in more recent copies that I really appreciate. They gave us the ability to have the button so we can change where the map goes, even though half the time they take away our ability to turn off the chat button needing to be entered. It worked on very few, if any, servers at all. The main thing is that it would refuse to let me load it because it would say bad username for the Steam ID, which may mean it just inadvertently screwed over me being able to get on other servers with any of my copies I have. Because if you're not aware of it, even though it uses a local copy of LumaEmu and a few other things to give you a name when you log in, your Steam ID is derived from your registry by using some sort of hash. And this the LumaEmu utility is able to make that work, usually from a routine called change my name or change nick. And or in this case, using a Rust launcher that should have included that ability, but this one just launched and disappeared and ran the game, and I'm not really sure exactly what's going on. Anyway, at that point, it might have marked me as a bad faith actor, and I might have to, reset my name so that I can do this correctly. All of the copies I have when I log in state the version of the client I'm running, Rust Legacy, whatever. In this case, it was Rust Legacy, and that it was just named after the people who created it, or the individual who created it. Like, it might have been The Long Champ or something like that. I forgot what I typed in. I just put in something. So without the map on it, it's a bit annoying. And it doesn't seem to want to work on any servers at all, but the ones it tried to work on, this could have been it just getting angry because the name for it didn't match any of the previous logins, or it might have thought that I was stealing someone, borrowing someone's ladder, as they used to call it, might be stealing someone's Steam ID and trying to hack in. It might have invalidated all of my accounts on all the servers, so I'll have to start over again. I don't know. I'll see later on. I tried it on the ones that seem to tolerate older versions, and this being in effect a not quite unaltered, not quite pristine, but almost pristine 2014 version of it, except for a launcher that doesn't want to work correctly or do anything important that I can find. It's got no real use, except it might have some files that are unmodified somewhere that a person could look at. And if you extract it again with WinRAR, you get to see the time and date stamps of the last alteration, which even people who are altering the games to put a virus in, or somebody lying about it being a virus, they don't change the time and date stamps most of the time. And a lot of these, when you download them, you could extract it with WinRAR, go to the Advanced tab and tell it to extract with all the time and date stamp data, and you can find out when these alterations were happening. And maybe it would have a file that's interesting. For instance, if this is really holding 2013 December 23rd resources, but it has alterations and updates to 2014 March, this might indicate that it still includes legacy backup copies of the car function that was removed that month or that year. I don't know. This might be the missing link that still has the white cube out in the middle of nowhere, all the weird anomalies and stuff that might be in the game. It would be really interesting to be able to find that, although I don't know if I'd be able to dig any of those out. There were a lot of edits going on from December 2013 to about this point, and this might be the magic version that has some file you might be missing. But other than that, I don't see a use for it. Now, I will keep this information around, and I will keep this copy on my drive. If anybody really desperately needs it or it disappears, contact me, I guess. And when I use it on my computer and have a local server I set up, and when I go into it, the admin uberhatchet, because it lets me go ahead and log in as an admin. In fact, it seems to like it. The uberhatchet music loops. Instead of it running once when you whip it out and then put it away, it keeps playing it. That I don't remember hearing on most of them. I mean, most of the versions I'm running don't seem to do that, or they screw it up. This one, at first, when I first did it, looped it twice in each ear, so I got a pseudo stereo effect. But, yeah, that's about it. So except for not being able to log in anywhere because a lot of them just flat out rejected it because they said wrong version number or old or doesn't have the right patch or whatever the hell it was. It just said no. Or it saying bad username for the Steam ID, which may have been caused by me logging in with it, and I'm not sure how to fix that. So I'll be fiddling around with it later. I'm fairly sure that I just screwed up, and I'll just have to wait until everybody finishes wipe and I can log back in like last time this happened. Last time it happened, I wasn't doing any experiments, amazingly enough. So conclusion, what is this useful for? It may have files that have missing data and Easter eggs we can re-invoke. I'd love to find the version and time and date stamp for the weird French server that had a cube found out in the middle of nowhere because Gary was editing and left a cube out in the middle of nowhere, probably at dead center point, because that's usually where a default cube will form at coordinates 0. So other than that, that's it for it. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that. If you need it, you can download it. If you don't, you know about it. And yeah, it doesn't have any viruses in it except for a complaint about it using a game hack, so we can still play it. Bye.